With respect to the judgment of Justice Boodoosingh that came out yesterday, it is very incorrect for anyone to suggest that the regulations, the public health regulations, have been struck down. That's just not a fact. In fact, the court upheld that the public health regulations are not unconstitutional and they are intra-virus within the law, and that the government was quite right to continue to make these regulations. The only thing that the court struck down was in the last set of regulations. I think it kicked in from about regulation number 23, if I remember correctly. There began to be a reference. So, for example, in ecclesiastical settings, you can't have gatherings of more than 10, or if you're having certain things, they must be in conformity with the CMO's guidelines. And what the court found is that the guidelines were not part of the regulations. The guidelines were not attached to the regulations. There was not certainty in these protocols and guidelines. And to have a criminal offense, you must have certainty. So to tell someone that if you breach this, you, me, we must know what is it that we're going to breach to be charged with a criminal offense. So the court found that there was not enough certainty in the description. There was not enough certainty in what is it being breached. As I was speaking to the Prime Minister a little earlier, for example, when it described churches, mosques, and religious gathering settings, they use a per square foot. But it didn't say, okay, if you have us next to each other, but we're still within the ratio of the square footage, then that becomes a criminal offense. And the law has a principle: you must have certainty, and if there's a breach of certainty, then it can be a criminal offense. So all the court found is don't refer in the regulations to protocols and to guidelines by the Ministry of Health. So that will be rectified. But the court did hold, Prime Minister, that like they're seeing all over the world, especially in Commonwealth jurisdictions, the government could make the regulations that it did throughout to protect the population, and there was nothing unconstitutional with that whatsoever. So the regulations have been upheld as being legal and being not in breach of the Constitution.
So while you're up there, right, I just want to